Hey guys, welcome back to the house where we talk news, celebrities, and hot topics. I'm excited to be back with you guys on this Monday afternoon. Y'all, I know I'm a little late, but I did want to come on here and talk about the Wendy Williams documentary and movie, honey, because it was a lot, okay? It was very deep. It was very sad. And I just kind of came out of the movie feeling sorry for Wendy Williams and just feeling kind of depressed. And so we're going to get into that. And then I also want to talk about the real reason Karen Huger went the hell in on Gizelle Bryant the other day on Twitter. Yeah, it's a mess. We got to talk about it. If you guys like the video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. And let's get straight into the video. Let's talk about the Wendy Williams movie. Did you guys watch it? Okay, I really want to know if you guys watched it because we've been talking about Wendy a lot lately. She's been doing a lot of interviews, and I kind of feel like, doing that many interviews was kind of detrimental for me, okay, as a watcher of the movie, because I kind of felt like, we ain't really learned nothing too new. Because she had came out and did Watch What Happens Live, and she did Derek Monroe, and she did Entertainment Tonight and Access Hollywood, and she did, interviews with all types of YouTubers, just spilling a bunch of her tea. And so by the time we got to the actual movie this past Saturday night, I felt like I knew everything, okay? There was a couple of things that I didn't learn, but overall, I would have to say that I am super happy and I am, really proud of Wendy for coming into her own, being an independent woman, coming out of that, disastrous marriage, okay, with Mr. Kelvin Hunter, the emotionally abusive monster. And so I'm glad that she can stand here today and tell her story. So shout out to, Auntie Wendy for that. But you could tell throughout the whole movie that, y'all, she's not over this stuff, okay? She is still going through it because, y'all, she was crying throughout every damn scene in that documentary. Like, when I say every scene, I mean every scene. And I'm just sitting here like, okay, like, I know a lot of this stuff is emotional, and I know she's, having to rehash a lot of her trauma in the past. But I'm like, okay, I think Miss Wendy Williams, if she is not already, needs to go to therapy, because you can tell that this stuff is weighing heavily on her heart, okay? You can tell Auntie Wendy was going through it. She was crying like a baby, y'all, okay? Just letting it all hang out. And so I really do think if she isn't already, she needs to go see a psychologist because, honey, it's some deep-rooted issues there and a lot of trauma that I believe she needs to unpack. But with that being said, here are some of the highlights from the movie and documentary that I just thought was interesting. And this is all of the major stuff that Wendy went through in her life that just happened to be traumatic in my eyes. The fact that she kept getting constantly fired. She kept going from radio station to radio station to radio station, getting fired because she had a big mouth. People didn't like her. People didn't understand her. But Wendy Williams really did carve out that pathway for, salacious celebrity gossip in the urban space, kind of similar to something that Howard Stern did in his particular, pathway. And so she kept getting fired. And I know in the movie, I remember she walked into her manager's office and she was like, yeah, I got a job at Kiss FM radio in New York City. And so I'm going to be taking this job. And the manager said, girl, like, you tried it. Okay, bye-bye. Go to New York, see how well you do, and get out of our office, all right? And so you could tell that everywhere she worked at, the managers, the people, the coworkers, they were not feeling her, which I think is sad, okay? I think it's really sad. Can we get on Wendy's mother and her family and the pressure that Wendy had on her to lose weight as a little girl? I just thought that was terrible. And it did not show her mother and father in the best light, okay? She, to me, seemed like a huge reason why Wendy was so insecure and battered as a grown woman because of the trauma that she endured as a child growing up in that household with her mother constantly telling her that she's overweight and that she's fat and that she needs to lose weight. I just thought that was traumatic, okay? It's like, girl, Miss Shirley, I'm gonna need you to bring it on down because I think it's highly inappropriate to ingrained in a child's head to be weight conscious. It seemed like to me, the mama, the daddy, and the rest of the family only cared about Wendy's appearance and how she looked and how she was perceived by everybody else outside of the household, rather than being concerned for her health, okay? They couldn't care less whether Wendy was healthy or not, but they just wanted Wendy to be skinny, mini, any, like the rest of the kids. And that's the reason why Wendy grew up, okay? And she got all the liposuction and she got the big old breasts and she did this, that, and the third with the fillers to her face. We did see in the movie that Wendy got assaulted. That scene in the actual scripted, movie was very, very awkward. I thought the pacing was really off. I thought the timing was really off in the movie. And just the way the whole thing went down was just like strange. Like it was very cringy. But again, it was very brave for Auntie Wendy to really share her story. But this is a part of the story that I really wasn't interested in because, we just already knew about it, right? During Wendy's press tour, she was going from interview to interview to interview, okay, talking to everybody, all right? She really wanted to get the word out that she had a deal with Lifetime and that y'all hoes needed to tune in on January 30th to catch both of her specials so that her production deal can go through and she can make some coins. But I digress. With that being said, just something I already knew. It was unfortunate, but I'm glad she told her story because she is living proof that you can go through certain circumstances and, come out on the other side being successful and being a survivor. And so I appreciate Wendy for telling her story. And I just wish, you can't tell victims how to react in certain situations when things happen to them, especially when it comes to sexual harassment and assault and rape and things of that nature. But I'm happy that in 2021, that we have this whole Me Too thing where women do feel more comfortable with coming out and really putting these men on blast for their egregious, gross, disgusting behavior, okay? So shout out to Wendy for talking about it. Something I did not know, okay, that was new from the movie, was the fact that Miss Wendy Williams, Miss Auntie Wendy, had 2 5-month miscarriages, okay? And then actually one of the babies was stillborn where she actually had to go into labor and push the baby out. But, it didn't make it. And so that was sad. That's something that I did not know that Wendy went through. And so, shout out to her again for just, putting that stuff out there because I'm like, sheesh, that is very, very, very traumatic and it's sad. And it may have contributed to some of the reasoning as to why Wendy never had another child after Kevin, along with the fact that, she knew her husband wasn't shit and she didn't want to have no more kids with, the abusive bastard, okay? So let's see, what else did Wendy deal with? She dealt with Kelvin Hunter, the cheater. She first found out 2 months after little Kev was born. She dealt with an emotional abuser because the man was abusive. He was aggressive. He was just delusional, disgusting. I'm so happy that she finally divorced his ass. She dealt with a coke habit, which was quite interesting. I don't really know why she did coke. You can't really explain why people do drugs. But it was cool to know that she just quit cold turkey. She said that it took her 4 days to get off the coke, and apparently she's never done it again, which, let me know if y'all believe that or not. I do think Wendy has been on something because y'all remember a month, 2 or 3 ago when she came onto the stage while she was doing The Masked Singer. She looked like she was on some pills. She was on alcohol. She was on something because Auntie Wendy was off her rocker. And it was quite embarrassing, okay? I just felt so bad for the girl. I was just like, oh my God, somebody send Wendy back to rehab. Because this shit ain't normal, okay? It ain't normal. But apparently she's never been back on coke since before her 30s. She dealt with a really, really, really contentious divorce. Right? She was dealing with a lot of health issues, the Graves' disease, the lymphedema, this, that, and the third. And then, of course, most recently, she dealt with losing her mother, which wasn't a part of the movie because, the movie was filmed, months and months and months to a year ago. But you know, just something current that Wendy's going through. And so I don't know. I really didn't come out with much. But I will say, you know, Wendy, she had a dream, she had goals, she had aspirations, and she took a leap of faith and went for it and made it, right? That's the positive side of, you know, her telling her story. I guess the negative side or the sad side would be, you know, Wendy Williams, I think, is still weeping in this state of depression. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychologist, and I don't want to diagnose her. But I do feel like there's still something mentally wrong with her. She is dealing with a lot of trauma, and I do think she's currently in today's moment living a very sad life, right? Because you just don't get over all this stuff in a year or in 2 years. Like, it's going to take some time for her to unpack all of this trauma, and it's going to take, you know, some time for her to really come to grips with everything that has transpired in her life, okay? And so the big takeaway from this is that Wendy Williams, to me, is living a very sad life, you know, despite her becoming huge in the media entertainment field, all right? So shout out to Wendy for the movie. You know, I think on the technical side, the movie was a hot ass mess. I felt like the continuity was a mess. I felt like the acting was terrible. I felt like some of the choices and pacing and things of that nature were really, really bad. But it is what it is. You know, it's a Lifetime movie. It's not a blockbuster. It ain't Netflix, okay? It ain't in theaters. And so, you know, they got to do what they got to do with the budget that they was handed. But definitely let me know what y'all think about the situation. Another thing that I also wanted to mention before we get off of this subject is the fact that Kelvin Hunter was invited by Auntie Wendy herself to be in the documentary to share his side. And then, of course, he declined because he knows nothing good is going to come out of that, okay? We thought you was a dog before, and if you did the documentary or not, we will still think you was going to be a dog afterwards. Okay, so let me know what y'all think about the whole thing. Before we get on out of here, really quickly, I did want to mention Miss Karen Huger, okay? And the last lady of Potomac, Gizelle Bryant. Remember when I came on here and I discussed that tweet from Karen, basically Karen saying, you know, girl, I'm not stalking you and I'm not doing drive-bys. You need to worry about the man that's living in your phone doing a drive-by. Well, yeah, we don't know where that stemmed from, but apparently, I believe Gizelle went to do a virtual interview with the BACA Wines director, Jennifer Brown. And this comes from the Jasmine brand, I believe. Gizelle said that Karen Huger allegedly leaked her address despite Gizelle Bryant not ever inviting Karen to her home or giving her an invitation with her address on it. Gizelle apparently in the interview said, "You're 100% a stalker. You're stalking me. You're stalking my address. You're probably, driving by in the middle of the night. And that's very strange to me." And I quote, right? And so that's when you had Miss Karen, okay, the Grand Dame of Potomac, go to Twitter and be like, girl, worry about the man that's in your phone that's slinging his big D all over the congregation. Shout out to Miss Monique Samuels for giving us that good tea, all right? Now, don't let us call on Miss Tanya Griffin, okay? I think they should bring Vivian on the show, and I want to see Tanya Griffin on the show because I really need for y'all to get into Wendy, Gizelle, and Robin's ass, okay? I'm sick of them. So let me know what you guys think about that situation, and then also, I really want your opinions on the Wendy Williams documentary. Like, I don't know. I was like excited for it, but it was just too heavy for me. Like, is it just me? Okay. It was just too heavy and too sad and too depressing. And I understand that, you know, her life is her life, but it wasn't a happy story. I don't even think it was a happy ending. Like, I'm glad you got away from the monster of a husband you have. But at the end of the day, it's like she got her financial advisors together, her accountants, you know, her lawyers and everything. They came together to come up with this divorce plan. But at the same time, it's like, Wendy, you didn't win in the end because you're still paying him alimony and he's living off of that check along with the Sharina Hudson chick, okay, the baby mama, the side chick, and their baby Journey, who we now know the name of because Wendy was so petty and messy on her show a couple of days ago. And so, I don't know. It's just like, girl, you didn't come out being a winner, okay? Yes, you're free from him, but it's just The movie didn't have enough layers for me. It was just one traumatic event after the other, a series of unfortunate events. And I was just like, okay, bitch, where's Jim Carrey? Okay. But like I said before, let me know what y'all think down in the comments below. I'm gonna wrap it up right here. If you guys like the video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. And don't forget to create a great day. Bye, you guys.